You're listening to the Weekend Sport Podcast with Jason Pine from News Talk ZB.
2 games to go in the 2023 FIFA Womens World Cup. Tonight in Brisbane, Australia v Sweden for 3rd and 4th. Tomorrow night in Sydney, the World Cup final, England v Spain. New Zealand Herald Football writer Michael Burgess is in Australia and joins us now. Michael, have we got the 2 best sides in the World Cup final tomorrow night?
We have, Piney. Yeah, great question. We have, and that's what makes this final so exciting because, you know, it doesn't always happen. If we think back to the Men's World Cup final in 2018 in Russia, you had Croatia sort of get through, and so no, this is fantastic. You've got the two best teams definitely, slightly contrasting styles, both in good form. So it's a recipe for an intriguing game and quite an open game, which I think is what most of us want to see when you get to a decider.
Who do you think are favourites?
Well, everything points to England. You know, they've got such a great structure. They look like a tournament team. They look like sort of the old style USA team. They've got by far the best coach in the women's game at the moment, and the way they've come through the tournament. You know, just finding ways to win in difficult games against Nigeria, coming back against Colombia, and then, you know, they beat Australia after Sam Kerr's amazing goal that lifts the roof off the stadium, and everyone went nuts. No, they buckled down, they find a way to win. But I actually think Spain's going to do it. I think England hasn't faced a team like Spain. I think Spain's got weapons that England will struggle with. I like the fact that Spain have come through so much adversity as well in this tournament. They've got a fresher squad. They've used more players. England's been relying on sort of the same core, so I feel like if the final goes the distance, they'll be better placed in that way. And I just think Spain, I don't know, I just got a feeling they're really ready for this. And the other thing I'd say is England haven't faced a European team since the group stages. So, you know, they've had some good wins to get here, but this will be their biggest test.
Do you think England, though, have grown into this tournament, Birch? Because I kind of watched them at the start of the tournament and they kind of huffed and puffed a little bit against the likes of Haiti. They put 6 past China, but China were fairly limited. Needed penalties to advance. But I thought they were very good against Australia. Do you think they've grown into the tournament somewhat?
Oh, they have, definitely, mate. And that's why most people are backing them. And, you know, to be fair, they are a very good chance. They're definitely the favourites. In my mind, because of the way they've built into the World Cup. As you say, they started slowly, but it's always a good sign when you find a way to win. You know, they got through against Nigeria, being down to 10 players for a long time. They got through Colombia despite going behind, and then the Australia game, they just played so well. They were so organised. They controlled the match, didn't really let Australia into it for long periods. So they are coming right at just the right time. They're playing in back-to-back finals. Their squad's got so much experience. So yeah, they're going to be very, very hard to beat.
You talked about adversity in the Spanish side, and it's been well documented, the very public falling out between coach and the playing group, the fact that 15 players boycotted the team until the coach was replaced. That didn't happen, so a number of those players aren't here. They've had a couple of injuries, and yet here they are in the World Cup final. What does that say about the players, or do we actually have to give the coach some credit here and say, well, he has guided a team of players who weren't necessarily in his corner the whole way, all the way to the World Cup final?
It's really, really tricky one to work out because, as you say, he ended up leaving 12 of those 15 players back in Spain. 12 of those players that were part of that protest are not here, and a lot of them some really good players. But he's galvanised the ones who are here into this unit that keeps responding. You know, I don't think Spain were. In the past, they haven't been that strong, you know, to be able to sort of take a punch and recover. We saw them lose to Japan 4-0, then they bounced back. They conceded a late equaliser against the Netherlands in Wellington, bounce back and win. And then they get past Sweden, who, you know, a very functional, tough team. So they're doing it really well. If you talk to the Spanish media, though, they do give most of the credit to the players. That they sort of imply, no one's sort of saying it, but they imply that, you know, the players are running a lot of this. They feel the coach is He's been there a long time. He's a bit behind the times. So they give a lot of credit to the players, and they say if Spain do lift this trophy, it will be a triumph for the players, for the playing group who have sort of found a way to put the differences to the side and just go on with being the best team they can be.
All right, third and fourth place match tonight, Australia v Sweden. Who do you think wants this more?
That's always the question, isn't it, Piney? Because with these third-place games, you've seen them in the past in both the men's and the women's, where the teams are so deflated that they just can't do it. I think Australia will probably want it more. They seem to have recovered relatively from the massive disappointment of losing to England, and they'll have so much more to play for in terms of another big crowd. The nation over here is still so excited about everything they've done. So this could be a really good way to sign off. But having said that, Sweden, they probably overachieved as well. They've got quite a young team, so they would love a bronze medal. They've been in a lot of semi-finals. But you would think Australia at Suncorp Stadium will have more to play for. But another intriguing game that could be really close.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. We've got two terrific games to finish. Thanks, Burge. I've loved your coverage on nzherald.co.nz across the tournament. Amazing work from you, mate. Hope the weekend in Australia treats you well. Australia, Sweden, 3rd and 4th tonight, 8 o'clock New Zealand time. England, Spain, World Cup final tomorrow night, 10 o'clock New Zealand time. Jason says, Scott, England are the European champions. They're the informed team. They take it 2-0 for me. That's the thing about it, Scott. You could well be right, but Spain could win it 2-0. In fact, tonight's game, tomorrow night's game, it is really, really difficult to find an out-and-out favourite in either of them. And I think that's great.
For more from Weekend Sport with Jason Pine, listen live to News Talk ZB weekends from midday or follow the podcast on iHeartRadio.